Hi guys, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. I'm Lorraine and welcome to my channel. Now just before I dive in there and pull your cards for today, I'd just like to say I am an experienced and professional holistic and spiritual counsellor and mentor, and I offer 100% money back guarantee for image readings, tarot readings, also the programs, as well as spiritual and holistic counselling and mentorship, plus advice to help you with union with self and union with your person. Just check out the details in the description box below this video for more information. And thanks for subscribing. Now, let's see what messages the cards have for you, for both you and your person's love journey thus far. Alright, let's do this. Let's go. Okay, so you were coming in with the Sun card and you were coming in with the Wheel of Fortune. Now that talks about both you and your person. Alright guys, so let me start with your person first and then I'll come in with you. Okay guys, now what I get there in your reading is that for your person, it's being able to recognize and know what is the delay. What is holding them back here? The delay, what holds them back here, it actually comes in as themselves. Now, what it also talks about here in terms of the Wheel of Fortune for your person, what I pick up there is that in the past, your person built a life for themselves, okay? They invested. But what it talks about there also is that it didn't, well, what I want to say here is that it didn't make your person feel like they were a success here, and they didn't feel loved, is the best way in which I can say it here in your reading. Alright, so what's happened here, guys, or what happened in the past for your person, is that they changed their environment and they changed the people that were in it. Now this could have also been potential partners that your person will involve themselves with, okay? But it also talks about here in your reading is that it still didn't make the change, or still didn't fill the gap, the void that your person was wanting to fill here. Now what it also talks about there is that in that cycle, because it was a continuous cycle for your person, within that cycle your person was unable to figure out here in your reading why they felt a certain way, why things weren't what I mean by things, when your person built something, when they invested in something here, it still didn't bring in that solid happiness here that they were actually looking for. That's what it's talking about. So they made changes within their environment. That's what it talks about. And it came in, there were some really good times for your person is what I'm picking up, but it was only short-lived here. That's what it's also saying. And this is what I get here for your person is when they realized what the delay was, what held them back, why they were moving so slow. Here in your reading, it brought in a tower moment for your person. The truth brought that in for your person. That's what it talks about here. Now, what could have brought about that truth for your person is actually you the viewer here. See, what I get here in terms of yourself, here in your reading, is that you recognize that past cycle. You recognize what held you back here. Your own negative attachment. See, your person was the same. Your own toxic patterns of behaving, because that in itself became a cycle for yourself, for you the viewer. But you've worked through that is what it's telling me here with the Sun card, because the Sun card talks about self here. And so what it tells me here in your reading is that in actual fact, you've already worked through that. There have been massive changes. These changes have been rapid. Let's say in the last few months here. I'm not saying that's when you started your transformation, because that's what it's also talking about here in your reading, especially if you're coming in with the Sun card here. What it talks about there, and what I pick up here in your reading, is because you come in with tenacity, you come in with stickability here, that you have stuck to your internal compass and your inner knowing. And by doing that here, guys, you have followed your passions and your desires, and you have actually invested in it. Invested in those passions and those desires here, where you actually may have a business. You've actually built it here, guys, but you haven't built it the same way in which it was built in the past. Now, when I come in with the Wheel of Fortune, what it can talk about there is that you've actually got to take the actions here to turn the wheel in your favor. And what it tells me here is that it has turned in your favor, and your person realizes that. That's what I'm getting. Now, with the Sun card also coming in here, what it talks about there is that you are attracting a lot of attention here. It's your confidence, it's your self-confidence here, it's your stickability here, guys. It's that conscious effort that you have made to make changes here, to take the correct action because you follow your internal compass and your inner knowing. Here in your reading, you are coming in with charisma here, where you've got this way about you here, guys, where you're not showy, you're not flashy here. It is coming in as self-confidence, but there's a calmness about you here. It does come in as a type of silence here, guys. Yeah, when you walk into a room, you're not the one that goes, that's, hi, how are you? You don't come in that way. And people are well aware of it. And what I get there in your reading is that that is what's attracting a lot of people's attention here. It is coming in that way here, guys. See, you've come away from patterns and habits and an outdated belief system in terms of tradition and religion. You don't follow that guideline anymore. You don't do things that way, is what it's saying. You do things your way because you trust in what you know to be true for yourself. Now, in terms of your person, like I said, here in your reading, they definitely see the truth as to what is holding them back here. What they are holding on to, and why the cycle is just continuous here in your reading. See, you move by yourself, for yourself, by yourself. There is a sense of self-identity coming in with you here. Individualities coming in here, okay? So you know who you are, you know what you want. Now, for your person, it's a little bit unsettling for them. That's what I'm getting. They feel a little bit uncomfortable here. Like I said, I do seem to think your person is going through a tower moment here in your reading. And that tower moment, like I said, it's a shock here for your person because of, I do get it's because of where you are and what you were doing, but what it also tells me here in your reading, and what I've also been picking up, is that you have people in front of your eyeballs that are wanting your time and attention. See, those people are coming in with strategic plans here. That's what it's also talking about here in your reading, but it comes down to you. You, the viewer, are you going to accept it here? All right. And even your person here in your reading, because you do have choices. That's what it talks about. All right, let me keep going here. So you have the Ace of Swords, you have the Death card, and you were coming in with the Four of Pentacles here in your reading. And so what I kind of get there within your reading is that it's the way that you come across, it's the way that you interact with people. Like I said, there's this kind of silence that you exude here, guys, yeah, where it's this way in which you interact with people. Here, this calmness here. You don't come across as if you know everything. You do know everything in the sense here, well, everything about yourself. You don't come across arrogant here or disrespectful is what it talks about here in your reading. You don't see yourself as someone who's changed, or you don't see yourself the way in which other people see you. That's what it's also talking about here in your reading. I just get here is that you just don't want to get too far ahead of yourself here. Because you've definitely gone through some kind of transformation here in your reading. It kind of comes in as sometimes you just don't want the attention. Sometimes you just don't want to attract attention here, but you're going to attract attention is what it talks about here in your reading. See, there are certain things about yourself that you still hold on to, and I do get here in your reading is that it's your independence. It's your own identity, because self-identity here, because that's where you've gained your own self-worth and self-confidence, and this is definitely something that your person is well aware of here. See, you are coming in with a rebirth is what it talks about. A restart, reprogramming here, because you're coming out of that past cycle. That past cycle is ending. But you're not out there going, I've ended out a past cycle or gone through some kind of transformation here. It doesn't you don't come across like that. You just are who you are. You remain the same. In terms of the Four of Pentacles here, it's like you hold on to your own humility here. You hold on to respect. You appreciate. You're grateful for the changes that you have been through here. You understand, you have gained knowledge about yourself. I know I'm coming in with you, but that's what these cards are actually talking about here in your reading. And if I was to come in with your person here, guys, here, what it talks about there in your reading is that I don't think your person has let go yet. But you know what, guys, these cards actually talk about yourself. They don't actually talk about your person, to be quite honest. There's vanity. You're not vain here in your reading here. I just keep getting here, you don't allow people to tell you who you are. You know, if someone said to you, you're a beautiful woman, you're a beautiful lady, you don't let that get to your head here. Or you're a beautiful man, you don't let that get to your head. Yeah, you don't allow it. That's what I get with the Ace of Swords here in your reading. Don't allow it. Well, it's like you don't, I want to say you don't fall victim to other people's praise. Where you look for other people's praise here. You just know who you are coming in with the Four of Pentacles. And you hold tight to that. You hold fast to that here. Alright, let's keep going here. So you were coming in with the Knight of Pentacles, you were coming in with the Seven of Wands, and you were also coming in with the Queen of Pentacles here in your reading. Yeah, the Knight of Pentacles can definitely come in as your person, potentially here in your reading. All right, but what it tells me there in your reading, you know, coming in with the Seven of Wands, what I actually pick up here in your reading is that it's not just your person. I get here with the Knight of Pentacles here that there are other people that want your time and attention. But it really comes down to you, the Queen of Pentacles, because you won't be rushed. You won't be forced to make a decision here in your reading. That's how it's coming in here, guys, because you come in with the Sixth Pentacle. Because it's you that makes the offer. It's you that takes it to another level here. I do get here, you know, with the Seven of Wands coming in, it is coming in as you will not be, well, you will not be tempted, yet you are a temptation. See, it tells me here in your reading is that you've worked so hard on yourself. You've invested here. You're coming in with the climb. You're coming in with striving here, guys, to get to this point in your life. Yet here, guys, there is still more room for growth, and you're very well aware of it here. And it's coming in as, well, not allowing, like I keep saying here, not allowing people to tell you that you're there, that you're good, that you're great, and you probably are. But you know, it comes in as yeah. But when I know I am, when I feel that I am, then I know I am. Don't tell me that I am here, in a sense, here in your reading. See, it comes in as using your discernment is what it talks about here. Yeah. That's what I'm picking up here in your reading. Letting go of those illusions here. I think praise is nice, okay, compliments would be nice here, but you don't let it be the end and be all of everything. Like, oh, they said I was good. Here, you kind of got to know that you are here. Yeah, that may sound a little bit arrogant here in your reading, but that's exactly what the Four of Pentacles is talking about, is that you know that you are here in your reading, but you don't say that you know, you don't come across that way. Here there's a silence, there's a quiet, there's a calmingness about you, yet here, guys, your self-confidence and your self-worth, the way in which you carry yourself, because you definitely come in with charisma, where you actually do have eyes on you at this time, is what it talks about here in your reading. Wherever you're going, you are attracting attention here. See, it kind of tells me here in your reading is that, well, you're quite trendy here. There's a way in which you express yourself, and it could really come through in your appearance. But what it also talks about there in your reading is that it's also the inner you. Yeah, that is really quite lovely as well. That's what your reading is saying here. And yeah, just because someone is going to pay you compliments, this is what your reading is talking about. Just because people are paying you compliments here about the way you look, about the work that you do, the way that you communicate here, okay? That's not in a way that is still not you. Here, it tells me here in your reading is that you define you. Yeah, you say who you are. Here, when you come in with the Seven of Wands, here in your reading, see that kind of attitude, those kind of characteristics here, guys, that kind of shocks your person here in your reading, because in their mind they may be thinking that you show off. They may be thinking that you're quite flamboyant here, that you walk into a room and you're just loud and proud. But what they don't realize here, or what they may be hearing about you here, guys, is that you're the total opposite. That's what it talks about here. All right, and people really like the way that you are, the way that you interact here. See, because what it also talks about here in your reading, when you're coming in with the Four of Pentacles, is that you work for it. You work hard for it. You work hard on yourself, your own self-identity here. Individuality here in your reading. And you do stick out here. Is what it also talks about here in your reading. See, behind the scenes, what people are not aware of is that you took the action to be where you are today. And see, that's what your person could be figuring out, or this is what they're beginning to know here, is that you took the action. You had to motivate yourself here. See, and this is another reason why people find you so attractive, because you do a lot by yourself here. And for yourself is what it talks about. You are coming in with willpower here. Willpower to take the action. I do get here in your reading, you have your own autonomy in the sense here, guys, your own sovereignty here, and you like to keep it that way. Because you're working your ass off here. See what it also talks about here in your reading, when you're coming in with the Ace of Swords here, guys, because I have all your cards in front of me. What it talks about there in your reading is that there is more to you than meets the eye, but you don't talk about that. You don't talk about the people that you know. You don't talk about your past, and what I want to say there in your reading is that, like I said, there's more to you than meets the eye. So you kind of come across a certain way to people and you just leave it there. Alright, but there's more to you than that. That's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to say. Alright, so we're going to come in with your advice card, and you're coming in with the Nine of Wands. And so, but once again, what it talks about there in your reading is that you're a very private person here. You don't like to be involved in other people's nonsense here, shenanigans. Alright, guys. And it still comes in as, here in your reading, that you do it for you, for your happiness here. Yeah, of course, there is a purpose, and that purpose here in your reading is to be of service to others. I do get that with the Sun card here and the Wheel of Fortune, because you've gone through it. You've dealt with it. That's what it's saying here in your reading. See, that Nine of Wands does come in as that conscious effort here, guys. Okay, to be better, to take the correct action. And it does come in as following your internal compass and inner knowing here. See, and that is something that your person is having to learn to do, is what it's telling me. It's a shock to your person, what you've been through, how you got to where you are. See, because they're beginning to recognize the Wheel of Fortune, that they too are holding themselves back here. Definitely coming in that way here, guys. Yeah, I get you've all eyes on you at this point in time. All right, thank you so much for your video. Thank you for watching. I'm going to leave it there and I'll catch you later. Bye.